What's happening, cinephiles? This is Dan.
This is Zach.
And we are the Feature Fellas. Welcome to Disaster Debates Fatality.
This week we're looking at 1995's Mortal Kombat, a film that has somehow gained more fans in his later years of life. You used to always hear this film in bad movie conversations, but now it's held to a pretty good regard considering. Holding a pretty high 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 5.8 on IMDb and a 2.7 on Letterboxd, and has a real lot of fun behind the scenes trivia.
Oh, interesting.
Did you know Jean-Claude Van Damme turned down the role of Johnny Cage, choosing to do Street Fighter instead?
Really? Was this around the same time then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
And that Chris Casamassa, sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, was hired to work as a stunt ninja, but his audition was so good he got the role of Scorpion.
Wow.
Really cool.
That's amazing.
Mortal Kombat was a commercial success for once.
Yeah.
Making around $122 million on a tiny budget of $20 million. Wow. It was really cool. It was followed by the sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and 2 TV shows. So without further ado, let's get into the review.
Let's do this.
So, it opens with Mortal Kombat and the incredible theme song starts playing, and it's just one of the best theme songs ever.
Oh,
the opening logo comes up. I'm real ready for this. I can't wait. I'm buzzing. 2 people fighting in like this really empty kind of land, and I only assumed at this point that this would be Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
I might have been wrong, but I was right.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, it's a bit weird looking, isn't it? Like really horrific CGI. The clouds are like it's like this weird sort of storm going on.
Yeah.
It just looks a bit naff, really.
It doesn't look right, but yeah,
it's like ruined sort of thing. But yeah,
very, very green screen. But I knew it was Shang Tsung to begin with. This big man steps on the other guy's back. Shang Tsung steps on his back, and he says, "Your brother's soul is mine." He's real overacting. I think you can realize here that the actor's real going. Your brother's soul is mine. Ham over the top, real wild. His face turns into something that really like resembles Ghost Rider. It's really, really weird. And then we cut to a different man waking up. This was clearly a nightmare. That's fair enough. Yeah. This different man is Liu Kang, and he looks super, super good compared to the games. Really good. He's like a perfect rip straight from the games. Yeah. It looks great. I really, really like him here. Yeah. He reads a note that says, "Brother dead, return home."
Such a weird note, isn't it? Isn't it Grandpa, like signed Grandpa from Grandpa?
That's it. That's all it is. And that's his scene done. Yeah. So we abruptly move to another scene now. Yeah. And we're in this like nightclub, and it's Sonya Blade and Jax. Sonya Blade looks great, I think, compared to the games personally. Well, I've played Mortal Kombat 9 upwards. Yeah. So I'm not majorly inversed in the Mortal Kombat stuff. So if I say people look like the games, I'm talking 9 upwards for myself.
Yeah, I've sort of dabbled in Mortal Kombat. I've never properly played the game. So yeah, it's more. I think it's more of like an awareness of who they are for us, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, it's like a super cheesy like 90s kind of club, and she comes up with some weird dialogue of like, "There's only one girl on this planet I trust," and you're talking to her.
I trust one person on this planet, Jax. You're talking to her.
You know, real fun dialogue, kind of cheesy stuff like that. They're at some sort of rave. It looks kind of like a bit of a wild gig, almost like an underground metal gig.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's definitely got that sort of like Blade sort of vibe, hasn't it? Where it's sort of like a bit of a seedy underground.
Pretty industrial. Yeah. Kano is here, and again, compared to the games, I think he looks pretty good. The faceplate is awful, like real bad.
Yeah. I couldn't really tell exactly what it was, so yeah, it's sort of like I think it's there. I think it's actually on his face.
100%.
But yeah, rather than CG. But yeah, it looks a bit like
he looks like he's been slapped.
Yeah, he almost has to like. He doesn't have to, but it feels like he almost. He's
But he looks cool, and he's here with Shang Tsung. Yeah. Kano has killed Sonya's partner, which I assume is Stryker. It's never explicitly said.
Yeah, so she's currently with
Jax.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the other person was Stryker, and Stryker's a pretty cool character in the games. So she's here to get Kano, and she knows he's here. Sonya is just absolutely smacking these people in this club. She's got a shotgun. And she's just smacking people left, right, and centre. It's pretty funny. She shoots out with like a random kind of henchman guy, and she asks where Kano is.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. She literally like shotguns this guy, like close range, shotguns him. Somehow he's still alive.
Yeah, no violence.
No, so he's still alive. He's been shot into pieces, but like everyone in the club, just no one reacts.
Yeah.
So she walks through the entire thing with the shotgun. Everyone just carries on. She used the shotgun. Everyone just carries on.
Yeah,
it's a bit strange, but yeah, fair.
Probably normal in this place. It's got to be. And at this point, I realised the music and the score is like super, super Mortal Kombat. It feels great, and it feels very 90s. Really works for the time. I really, really like it. We're now at a different scene with 4 guys fighting 1 man. I said this could be Johnny Cage. Turns out I'm right. It's Johnny Cage. It's not a real fight scene. They're shooting a film.
Yeah, thankfully. I mean, it does start, like, when you're watching the scene, you're really, like, confused as to what's going on, because it's very blatantly, like, choreographed. Do you know what I mean? Like, they sort of all the security guards sort of surround him. They take it in turns, and it feels like a really badly done scene, doesn't it?
I agree, yeah.
And then it kind of ends with him sort of roundhouse kicking the last guy, and he doesn't really react.
There's no reaction.
And then he kind of goes, "This is the part where you fall down."
This is where you fall down.
And the guy kind of, whoa!
Yeah, you get a really over the top kind of falls
himself down. He was like, "Oh, I was very glad." This was,
because I said it came to the point where I was like, either this is really bad or they're shooting a film because he's an actor.
Yes.
Luckily, it was that one, because this could have been a real bad scene. Johnny Cage walks off set, and because he says some of the actors aren't fighting and aren't doing it correctly, so he goes back to his trailer. He's then told someone is here to see him. Johnny Cage is known, he's one of the best martial artists in the world, but he uses it for acting. So everyone kind of calls him a fake because he's just an actor.
Yeah.
And you don't really know that he's a martial artist.
Yeah, I don't really understand how that works, how they know he's one of the best in the world, because he never does anything.
No, he's an actor. So people think he's fake, but then he's known for being a great martial artist. It's pretty weird. But you get this man called Master Boyd turn up and basically invite him to a tournament, Mortal Kombat, to show his true skill and to prove he's not fake.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because this is the one and only time you ever see Master Boyd.
Master Boyd.
And I think I'm assuming it was used to be like he had a master, so he is a martial artist.
He kind of clearly knows this man.
Yeah, so I think it was his sort of sensei sort of thing. But yeah, it's a bit weird. But anyway, turns out
it's not Master Boyd, it's Shang Tsung. So yeah, he's just everywhere at this point. We see Liu Kang getting off a boat, and at this point, I got a bit confused. I thought he was going into the Mortal Kombat at this point, but we hadn't even got there yet.
Yeah, so it's sort of explained. You've got to go to Hong Kong, isn't it? So the boat itself to go to Mortal Kombat is in Hong Kong. Yes. So yeah, he turns up basically back at the scene of the start of the film.
Yes. So he's here in like this kind of monk place.
Yeah, it's
with
like
his
a
grandfather.
Shaolin monk sort of place, isn't it? Where they're also like all these like people dressed in orange and like it's sort of like a bit of a spiritual place. But yeah, it is basically where the first scene of the start of the film was shot.
Yeah, so we get a bit of backstory for Liu Kang from his grandfather about his brother's death. There's a lot of kind of info expositions here in this film throughout. It kind of becomes a bit of a thing.
Turned out the start was real.
Yes, it wasn't just a dream.
Yeah, somehow he's seen this. His brother was called Chan. Yes. And I think they explained that he was preparing for the tournament.
Yes.
So I think he was preparing to go to the tournament. Then Shang Tsung turned up, did that, like killed him, and then obviously he didn't go. So I'm not. It's never really explained what is going on there, like who is the real.
Yeah, sort of I think it's at this point you kind of realize the plot isn't that interesting. They kind of just throwing stuff at you, and that's fine. You know, for a film like this, I don't mind so much. Liu Kang is the chosen one. Says he wants to fight in the tournament to avenge his brother. And that's fine. No one argues.
Yeah, so the thing I think is that maybe like he mistook him for someone, so maybe he thought Chan was Liu Kang was the chosen one.
Yeah, maybe
him,
somewhere.
He is the chosen one.
Yeah. So we get Raiden as a character into this film, and this is the first character from the games that that's not Raiden.
Don't tell me you're afraid of a simple beggar.
No, it's bad.
It's real bad. He looks horrendous. He can't act to begin with, and he's a pretty big actor.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this guy was in the Warriors as well. I think I can't remember exactly what part he plays, but I'm pretty sure he's in the Warriors, and he can act.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is a real unusual choice of casting, considering everyone seems to be, as I said, like Liu Kang is Asian. So the Blades, like they've kind of
done it
them
well
that way. Whereas Raiden's supposed to be Asian, they've they cast him as like he's just an American
generic
guy
white man, yes.
with like a really bad wig on.
Yeah, and the real stupid hat that just doesn't look right.
And he is the god of thunder and lightning.
Yes. And he sucks.
Yes.
This guy sucks. This isn't Raiden. He is awful.
He is.
Raiden asks Liu Kang to show his worth, and like Raiden like flips him over in this weird like slow-mo thing.
Yeah, there's a weird bit where sort of like Liu Kang is sort of like, this isn't Raiden, this is just some peasant sort of guy. And then he goes to attack Raiden, and he just kind of like
slow-mo
sweeps him with the arm. It's just a bit.
It's super weird.
Cool.
Liu Kang is like hell-bent on fighting his brother's killer at the tournament, who's clearly Shang Tsung, if you haven't pieced that together by now.
Yes.
Johnny Cage is at the dock, ready to head to the tournament.
Yes.
He's a real arrogant guy, and he's a real good Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
compared to the games, he's real good. There's a really weird exchange between Liu Kang and Johnny Cage, where Johnny Cage has loads of luggage. Yeah, and he asks Liu Kang to take it on board. Yeah. We clearly see where he's going with that. It's a little
questionable, isn't it?
It's a questionable scene.
Hong Kong, and it's a bit like, ooh, I don't really know if this is correct. But it's this is the first time we see the amount of luggage that Johnny Cage has.
There's multiple jokes about it.
It just keeps coming.
Yes.
But he probably has about 5 bags that Liu Kang takes off him at this point.
Yes. So Liu Kang throws him in the ocean. It's pretty funny. It's just a nice little joke. Jax and Sonya are watching this from afar as the big boat kind of pulls up.
Yes, we also meet Art Lean at this point, who I'm pretty confident was made purely for this film.
Yeah,
so I don't think he's part of the Mortal Kombat series. He's just a guy who's there. I think they describe him as like one of the best martial artists in the world. He's supposed to. I mean, they're all the best.
They're all that, yeah.
But he's like won tournaments or something. He's some sort of fighter or something.
Yeah. So that boat pulls up and it looks incredible.
Oh, it's
the set design here is real cool. It's a lot of effort went into it.
The big dragon sort of thing from the logo on the front of it.
Yeah. And like for all the kind of bad CGI and green screen, the set design is genuinely incredible. Kano's on the boat and you see him, and so Sonya goes on the boat and follows him because
he was there to lure her on.
To lure her in. Yeah. She has an exchange with Johnny Cage on the boat, and I think this is kind of the first time you get them all together. Yeah. And they're just so good together. All 3 of these main characters are awesome together.
They've got really good chemistry, haven't they, together?
100%,
a lot of banter. And
very funny, very good, just good performances. If it wasn't for Raiden, this would be such a great cast.
Yeah. This is kind of the bit where I realise as well that everyone's flirting with Sonya throughout this entire thing. I think Liu Kang's probably the only guy who doesn't really do anything. But pretty much any male that Sonya interacts with, they're all trying to smash her. It's a bit strange.
It is a bit odd, Yeah, no, it is kind of weird. Sonya meets Shang Tsung on the boat, and Sub-Zero and Scorpion kind of jump in here.
Yeah, so they end up... I'm pretty sure they start speaking on the top of the boat, and then they end up like going downstairs, and they end up in like sort of like the underneath bit. Mm-hmm. And then he brings in, they're like his loyal subjects, or they're like people that he's brought in, and they're like servants that he's made as his. So they just kind of come in for the background. They look great.
They look amazing. The outfits are great. They really are ripped straight out of the game. Yeah. The music kind of comes up a bit, and I'm ready. I'm ready for this scene. Sub-Zero freezes Sonya's gun that's like pointed towards him. Yes. The chain comes out of Scorpion's hand. It looks horrendously bad. It's like this is his hand and the chain's out of here. It's really weird. Yeah. But I don't care because this scene is great. I love it. Raiden comes in and stops the fight. Yeah. Rubbish. Real
it is the worst. Well, the worst CGI so far. Like it does look. You could tell it's nothing. It's not attached to him whatsoever.
Not at all.
It's not even close.
No. It's like, as I said, there's like this much gap.
Yeah, and then this thing just kind of points out of it. This little like snake-looking thing.
It's real weird.
Then Raiden just does this like weird. He just kind of comes in and like zaps them both. He's got like this sort of like red or orange like lightning, blue lightning that he kind of just like. It's almost like Bad Dog.
It's just he just stops it like that and that's it.
And then he does like the weird teleport thing after them. So there's like a blue bloop sort of thing that comes whenever people teleport. It's like,
it's real weird.
disappears back up the boat.
He really is the worst part of this film so far. Everyone else is real good, and he's just real boring. Raiden and Shang Tsung have a bit of back and forth about the fighters. I really like Shang Tsung at this point. His acting is so over the top, but he really makes it work. And again, I just don't like Raiden at all in any of these scenes. He's just boring and weird.
Yeah, so
Real weird.
this is basically like a big info dump in it. So the basic story, the tournament is Mortal Kombat. So they're trying to end the world, basically. So they need to win 10 tournaments.
And they've already won 9.
Yeah, it needs to win 10 tournaments in a row. They've won 9, so if they lose now, they're all dead, basically.
Yes,
and the
defeated.
Emperor comes back and will take over the world.
Yes,
basically.
that is it. Yeah. Raiden tells Cage, Blade, and Kang that one of those 3 is essentially going to win it
Fate of the
for them.
world is on you.
Yes, it's real dramatic. A giant skull pops out of the sky, and Shang Tsung exclaims that it has begun. The tournament is like
it's a little
starting.
weird. Did you also notice the Raiden's laugh before this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so stupid.
He's
He
real-
just does like so he'll say things. I think it comes like 2 or 3 times through the film where he just kind of does this like sort of ha ha ha. Like laugh after it is a bit odd.
He's super weird. I said his performance in this film is just bizarre.
Yeah.
Considering you've got people up here, you've got people down here, and you've got people kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
He's just way
just
down
down,
there.
yeah.
I don't know what he's doing.
But yeah, I don't really know. The skull felt a bit pointless. It was almost like a Harry Potter film where they like make a big skull.
It's
sort
just
of
super
appears.
weird. It just comes out of nowhere.
Just there.
The CGI looks awful.
Oh, yeah.
Real bad. But because it's like a 95 Mortal Kombat film, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It works. It's what makes the film.
It works with this. Everyone gets off the boats, and Johnny Cage has more luggage. This has got to be like another 6 bags.
He must have taken at least like 20 cases with him.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
He's holding them like a cartoon character like this, and
Yeah.
he just kind of falls off his little boat. It is hilarious.
So silly.
It's
Yeah, it was a bit weird because obviously, like Johnny Cage is supposed to be like the cool sort of like calm guy, and like for the start of this film, they definitely make him very the comedic one.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
It's like he's very slapstick. He's like clumsy, falling over, like trying cheesy pickup lines. But it works.
It does.
Yeah.
All 3 of them are climbing these like major steps to the temple or wherever the hell we're going, and Johnny's got more luggage and just drops it down the stairs.
Oh,
It's so weird.
No more steps.
Yeah, when they get there, I mean, the island itself is beautiful. Isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
Like they've got really nice like dragon sort of statues everywhere. When they get to the top, then you've got like a lot of warrior sort of statues. I don't know if they're like carved or if they, do you know what I mean? I don't know if they like put there or if they're like dead warriors that have been like turned to stone,
It could be either. To be fair.
The set is beautiful.
Set design's incredible. Yeah, no, looks real good for this kind of film. Really fits the vibe of the film. We're introduced to Katana, who is like sitting over the edge, and then there's like a lizard statue.
Yes.
And just thought, I was like, oh, that could be Reptile. They might have just like statued him or something. No. He comes alive, and he's real bad CGI, and he's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No, it is awful. I think like around this time there'd been the PlayStation 1. So, and it literally does look like he's been ripped straight out of a PS1 game and put in there. Like Gex. Do you remember Gex? It looks like they've taken him and put him into a film, which is fine if it's an animated film. But yeah, it is atrocious, but I absolutely love it.
Oh yeah, no, it's
think
just
the best part.
so bad.
I love it.
Everyone's in a dining hall. Shang Tsung welcomes everyone.
Yeah.
Tomorrow morning, the tournament starts, and the reigning champ is Prince Goro, Big Bad Goro. He's a tank. We'll get to see him a bit more later. We get this weird little pre-fight. The music score is awesome. Sub-Zero just comes in and like freezes a man and destroys
it's
him.
weird, isn't it? So they're all eating food. They're all like sitting there on this big banquet sort of thing. And then these like jacked up ninjas just turn up. Oiled up, jacked ninjas just turn up and start just booting everything. So booting everyone's food now. It's just a bit like, it feels slightly unnecessary.
It's just an inconvenience.
Yeah. And then they kind of like crowd around, don't they? And then like one of the ninjas comes out and he just starts doing like the most pointless sort of like kicks and punches, like, oh yeah. Like just doing all these spin
the noise.
kicks, doing all like jump kicks and all this. And then finally just runs headfirst in Sub-Zero, gets frozen and shot.
And destroyed. And then
instantly.
Shang Tsung says flawless victory.
Flawless victory.
You've got to chuck that in somewhere.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a real strange scene. But yeah, you get the 3 of them all together, then Liu Kang, Johnny Cage and all that. And they all work together really, really well. It's great. And again, I keep saying it, but the set design here inside these like temples and stuff just looks incredible. The hole here looks awesome. Just looks really good. So we see all three of the main characters on a bridge.
Yeah, so I think they decided they're going to go find Shang Tsung. So the whole thing is they just want to get Shang Tsung.
Yes.
Obviously, Sonya's after Kano, which I'm assuming she thinks Shang Tsung.
Yes, they
should find Kano.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they're all just wandering around this big temple and they're looking for him.
Yeah. So we see a shadow of Prince Goro, and then we're somehow just back in the dining hall where Kano is just eating loads of food and Goro sat next to him. I think Goro looks awesome.
Oh, yeah, amazing.
He looks incredible. He's a major practical effect, which looks awesome.
Yeah, like it's craziness. So you sort of like you've got these massive guys.
Yes,
but like so you have like the guy there, and then they've kind of like stuck
a
like
second body
on top of him. So it's like so obviously he's got all the forearms and like. I couldn't tell if the top head was him or not.
Yeah,
because you could see him sometimes. It almost felt as though sometimes he'd be in the head and the arms be here.
Yes.
And other times then he'd be the arms.
Yeah. They probably swapped it around quite a few times.
Yeah, he looks really, really
good. He looks incredible. And I said, I know you haven't seen the new one, but in the new one he's completely CGI, whereas in this he just looks better because there's a practical effect.
No, he looks great.
He's such a silly looking character anyway, so it just works perfectly. Kano is getting paid to humiliate Sonya Blade in the tournament, but not to harm her, says Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung warns Goro of Princess Katana, who is the rightful heir to the throne. Of the Outworlds. Yeah,
so she is the adopted daughter of the Emperor.
Yes.
Obviously, we'll find out how that happened. But yeah, so she is the adopted daughter. I think they said she's about like 10,000 years old, which I mean, fair play to her.
Yeah.
She looks great for 10,000.
Incredible, yeah. Fair play.
But yeah. So I think we learned this point is sort of like Goro's like a general of an army, and then Shang Tsung is also enslaves the souls. So whenever people die, he takes the
sucks
souls
them
and sucks them into his own thing. So yeah, again, more of an info dump again.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of this going on right now.
Yeah, for the first half hour.
Yeah, so we're going through this like cobweb tunnel.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? So you end up. So basically, I think they end up like knocking something over. So they're watching the table, and they from like a high spot.
Yeah.
They knock something over. Everyone hears them, so they start running. And then they end up in this like sort of like misty maze thing. So there's like all this mist around. You've got like these 3 different tunnels. Katana's at the end of one, and then they end up so they're going down following him. Well, Liu Kang does on his own.
Yes.
And then obviously we get to
so Reptile just kind of pops out and like screams at him.
Yeah, he sort of sprays him.
Yeah, it's like a steam.
It's
like a real weird
watery thing. So you obviously we were both expecting him to be
acid. I was expecting acid. Yeah, no, just a bit of steam.
Yeah.
It's just like a mild inconvenience. Reptile's gone, and Liu Kang's just kind of coming back around.
What was that?
Yeah, no, it's real weird.
Yeah,
I don't really know why that happens, but some like random ninjas come to beat up the 3 of them.
So it was after this then where they kind of, I don't know if they see Katana again, but they end up like going, so they choose a tunnel.
Yes.
They go down the tunnel, and then we've got this sort of like, it's like the tunnel, and then you've got like the little, it's like sectioned off, and then they just start going through, and there's like a cobweb. Per like every step or so, they just open this cobweb. And then like as they try to find him, then they go. I think it's Johnny Cage. And they're like, "You go the right way, Johnny?" And he's like to Katana, and he's like, "Yeah, I can smell her." So apparently Johnny can smell Katana, as you know.
Pretty weird. And I think Sonya Blade has something to say about that, if I'm correct.
It's a little strange.
It's pretty questionable, to be fair. Some people come to beat these guys up, and the theme song just really comes back and shifts into maximum overdrive, and we get a really good little like fun choreographed fight here. It's great. Raiden's in the background just like clapping for him after they fight. It's really weird.
It's a bit strange. So like throughout the fight we've got like a lot of roundhouse kicks. This is the first time we see Liu Kang do his like random stunts that he likes doing. So there's obviously you've got the shots of them actually fighting, and then every so often you just have a shot of Liu Kang doing something. So at this point there's like sort of like a statue there, and he sort of does like a cartwheel, jumping flip over it. For no apparent reason.
It's bizarre.
Sonya ends it with like a mad clothesline. They're just doing like a backflip off it and stuff.
They're real showing off.
They're showing off. I think you can tell that like a lot of them can do their own stunts. You know what I mean? And they're very athletic.
100%. And you can see Liu Kang for sure is doing his own stunts, and it does look incredible. Fair play to him. He's insane. I don't think Sonya Blade is doing her own, and I don't think Johnny Cage does his own either.
Really?
You there's a point where you can see a double.
Yeah,
there's a point where I noticed.
We'll see later. So I'm not surprised with Sonya, because she is a quite famous
She's an
actress,
actress,
and
yeah.
you can tell. But I didn't know that about Johnny.
Yeah, there's a scene coming up which we'll talk about,
Okay.
but I noticed a double in that point.
Okay.
So yeah, Raiden's in the background clapping for him. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's strange.
More henchmen arrive, and
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? So like they beat up these henchmen, more drive, so they're all like, right, we're
In
going
front
round two.
Yeah.
And then Raiden just sort of turns up and it's just like, stop.
yeah,
And they all go, okay.
no worries, Raiden,
And
we
all
will.
of them just kind of stop. And then, yeah, he just kind of takes them away and they all just part.
Yeah, it's pretty
But
weird.
there's never an explanation for it. It's never like,
No.
oh, Raiden's this big, so scary man,
Yeah.
or like they never intimidate him at any other point. It's just this specific point.
And I'd understand if he was like Raiden from the game where he was really stern and like,
Yeah,
stop.
or at least
But he's
like hit them with something rather than just going, no.
He's like a joker. He's
Yeah,
just
it's
having fun, and
really weird.
it's
Yeah,
doesn't
it's really
work
weird.
at all. I really
No,
don't
it's
like
really
it.
strange.
So Raiden's talking to our little trio of heroes about the tournament. It's just a bit of a lifeless info dump.
Yeah,
Keeps going.
info, yeah.
At this point, I'm just waiting for more fights to turn up, and we get it because the tournament starts today. So the next day, tournament starting. Liu Kang is up first, and the fight scenes in the tournament are real good.
Really
This
good.
is really good. They have like bamboo stick.
Yeah, so we start with like I don't really know who the guy is.
No, I don't think
like,
we're supposed to care about the opponent.
Yeah,
really,
no.
this is more of a show off.
There's
for
a
Liu
lot
Kang.
of like the sort of yeahs back and forth where
Yeah,
they kind of like they circle each other, like doing like random,
yeah.
like punches and kicks,
a
and
lot
like
of
it's
fun.
very like dramatic. But yeah, then when they actually get into the fight, it's a really good fight.
No, it is. It's genuinely good, and the music score comes up, and it's really
Yeah.
good as well. I think the music really adds a lot to this film. It's
Yeah,
good. Liu Kang defeats the opponent, and Shang Tsung takes his soul. Says fatality.
Fatality.
It's a real good scene. I love it. Sonya Blade is up next, and she's fighting Kano.
Yeah, but so in the scene, sorry, to
go.
go back to the Liu Kang scene. So yeah, he does like a cartwheel kick. Then he just finishes with a drop kick, which is really weird. So he just drop kicks him straight into the chest, and then the guy just seems done.
Gone.
So yeah, he has like incredibly hard feet. We learn at this point.
Yeah.
A drop kick of Liu Kang is
lethal.
incredible. Yeah,
It's killing you.
But yeah, the guy then he takes his soul, turns blue. Do you know what this is?
I didn't know.
So he sucked it out of him, and then the guy just turns blue. Like
Maybe
that's
it's the
all like
breath
sunken
coming
in
out
and
of
just
him or
blue.
something?
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
yeah,
notice that. That's
yeah.
really
Then we
weird.
go to Sonya.
So Sonya Blade is up next. She's fighting Kano, who's the one she's been after the whole time.
Yeah.
Kano's really good. I really like who plays Kano. He's a really good part. The new version of the Mortal Kombat movie, I like him a little bit more.
Okay, fair.
But this version is really, really good. And his lines are really funny with her. He's kind of like calling her baby
Hello, baby. Did you miss me?
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's kind of
so
cringe. But
I
it's
think
good.
this is where you kind of notice that Sonya isn't a fighter.
Yes.
We have like a little bit of her in the start of the fight where she's sort of shadow boxing and she just looks really uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really like she's just sort
Off,
of ooh,
yeah.
ooh, like it's and it's fair, like, do you know what I mean? She obviously isn't a martial artist of any sort, like, but yeah, you kind of see it here being like, oh, okay.
It's kind of unfortunate going up against people who clearly can do martial arts.
There was a bit of a, it was a bit of a mismatch sort of thing, but it was a small.
Yes. So he talks about how he killed her partner, Striker, and he studied all of Sonya Blade's moves, so he kind of knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
We get some more really fun music, and then for another really fun fight scene, I can't argue with it. It's really good.
Yeah.
But she is just destroying it.
She absolutely batters him. There was a bit where, I don't know if it was her or the stunt double, but there is a bit where she throws a kick and sort of misses and falls over, which is kind of hilarious. Like, because you can kind of see her falling and they kind of cut away and just go.
They knew what to do. Like, yeah.
But yeah, she beats. It's one of those where it's like he is told to not
harm her.
But it kind of comes at a cost.
Yeah.
So like basically the way she ends it is she ends up, for any wrestling fans, she does like a Trish Stratus thing where she lifts her legs up so her feet are there. So her like calves are like on his neck. But I mean, it's very obvious she isn't squeezing.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of there and he just slowly so good. And then like collapses as if she's choking him out.
As if she's real doing some damage. Yeah.
And it's just a bit like, but then she stays there. So instead of like bringing him in and squeezing his head, she just kind of leaves him there.
Yeah.
And I think
Cuddles
like
him,
right at the end that he kind of goes, give me a break. And then she just
breaks his neck.
Does and snaps his neck with her car.
Give me a break.
Okay.
And that's Kano done for the film. And it's kind of disappointing because Kano's a real big part of the games, and he's a real big part of the new film.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted more Kano, and he's such a good part in this film. So when he just dies, it's real disappointing because he could have done a lot more with him.
Yeah,
but
I think especially the way he went as well. It was
underwhelming.
Really
super
underwhelming and
underwhelming.
slightly like pathetic. When you look at it, you're thinking,
he's a big guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the eye. They could have done stuff with the laser and stuff, but they just don't. It's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, I think we then see Johnny Cage walking through this
it's like
field,
bamboo field of some sort.
For me, he was just going for a walk.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. There's a few of these where we're not really... It's never really sure what's tournament fights and what's not. I'm pretty confident every fight is a tournament fight.
I feel like this one isn't, but yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, because Shang Tsung's there for some and he's not for others. So sometimes they've got like a little crowd, and then other times, like this one, for example, there's no crowd.
There's no one, it's just these two.
But Johnny Cage does look like he's going for a fight.
Yeah, he's definitely ready for one.
He's almost like looking around as if like he knows something's coming, but he doesn't.
This almost feels like Johnny Cage was next to fight, and he just went for a walk quickly to like clear his mind, and then he gets attacked by Scorpion, who is shouting, "Get over here!
Get over here!"
He's attacked by the arm chain thing, comes out of his hand again, really bad, but it goes like whipping around these trees.
Crazy,
it's awesome.
Yeah, so he's got like the get over here, we got to come here.
Yeah,
and he's like flying around.
It looks awful, but it's amazing. Then Johnny Cage goes to like fly and kick him, and they just get like teleported.
Yeah, it's just a bit weird. So Johnny Cage kind of runs away, doesn't he? And then it ends up like this thing kind of gets tangled in all the bamboo. And then he sort of like ends up against the bamboo, and this thing is sort of like trying to hit him.
Yeah.
He dodges it, and it hits like a bamboo and just explodes. Like this thing on the end just dies.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, it's like a little snake.
Yeah. And then he sort of like disappears, doesn't he, Scorpion? And then kind of reappears, grabs him, and then just teleports him
to this place that kind of looks like one of the maps from one of the games. It's like the pit. That if you know that map, you know it's on one of my maps.
It's sort of like a big scaffold.
It kind of resembles Hell a little bit, which I kind of think it might be, but it's never explicitly said.
It's sort of minus the spikes, basically.
So this big metal riff kicks in, and they have this insane fight. And honestly, it is the best part of the whole film. This scene is incredible. The fight choreography is amazing. And set design's awesome. Music is insane. Cage does some of these like mad flips and all that.
Yeah, he busts like a little 619 at one point where he like sort of jumps out, grabs like wraps around the pole, kicks him. He hits like this Scorpion kicks out of you. He does like backflip. There's a point where I think Scorpion gets hit with a kick. He does like a backflip like to take the hit. And then there's like, you can see he hammers his shins on like a bit of scaffolding. I just thought, oh, that poor boy. Like, but yeah, the
choreography here is insane.
For an intimate fight as well, where they're like on this.
This is where you see Johnny Cage's stunt double.
Yeah.
There's a scene where you kind of look behind him and it's very clearly a different man, but it's very blink and you miss it.
Is it when they fight?
Yes, it's when they're fighting. So I was like, I'm pretty sure he's not doing his own stunts, but that's absolutely fine because it's such a sick moment. Scorpion takes off his face, reveals the skull.
Yeah,
looks horrendous.
We basically get a bit where. So like there's like a pole there, isn't it? And Johnny starts doing these sort of like gymnastic style sort of like spin. Kicks Scorpion, carries on spinning, throws himself up onto like another scaffolding where he's like holding it backwards.
Yeah.
And then some man just like throw himself back up, back, do another backflip, lands on top of them. Then Scorpion rips him down with the whole get down here. Yeah. Rob ripped him down, and they all kind of like the scaffold and everything falls down, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then then we get the bit then where Scorpion rips off his mask,
he literally takes his like mask and skin off. Yeah. Reveals the skull. It looks bad, but it's fine because the scene's incredible. He shoots a firebolt at Johnny Cage, and this honestly is just insane. Does he deflect it?
Maybe like a shield or this.
I feel like it's a shield. It kind of reminded me of the hat worn by I can't remember what the character's name is in the game, but when he like throws, it reminded me of that.
Is it not Raiden?
No, not Raiden. I can't remember his name. Someone will remind me of his name.
Yeah.
So Johnny Cage destroys Scorpion, just absolutely blows up.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? Because he sort of like he catches him with something, which sort of splits him open.
Yeah.
And then like his internals start like combusting, so it's like flames start coming out of him.
Yeah.
And there's like lava starts like oozing out of him. And there's a bit like unusual. I don't really know. Like,
no, I don't get it either.
That.
But it's definitely the most violent scene of the film as well.
Oh my god, yeah, and he just blows.
It blows up, and then you see a signed picture of Johnny Cage hit the floor, and it says, "To my biggest fan." Yeah. And honestly, is the best moment of the whole film.
Yeah, this whole scene is the Oscar-worthy moment for me, because it's just this whole fight from start to
incredible. It honestly feels like it's in a different film because it just goes so hard. It is insane. I said the only thing I think lacks with this film is the violence. I think if they could have toned up the violence a bit and just added a bit of like blood and gore, could have really added to it. But
I think especially in Mortal Kombat, the series known for violence.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And I mean, I know they weren't super gory in the beginning, but they got banned in the beginning for how violent they were.
A few more like proper fatalities would have been nice.
100%. But regardless, that is the best scene of the whole film. Mm-hmm. So we get back to the normal tournament now. We never see Johnny Cage get out of this place.
No, we have no idea where he is.
So how the hell does he get from this teleported area back? Yeah, didn't even think of that. So Liu Kang is up again versus Katana.
Yeah,
she just lets him win. We're telling him some like secrets of the
tournament.
So
she tells him to use the element that brings life to win his next fight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Because
it's boring.
It's not
as well.
Really. Yeah, it's not really a fight.
It's a bit of a tussle, and then she just kind of lays.
Yeah, because Shang Tsung's there, like watching it, but nothing really happens. Like they're just sort of like messing around basically, and then he gets a bit mad that she's telling him how to win.
To win your next match, use the element which brings life.
It's almost like a play fight.
Yeah. But like no one really gets no repercussions to anything.
No, nothing at all.
It just kind of ends.
Yeah.
Odd.
Yeah, no, it is really weird. So yeah, that's that fight over with before it even starts, really. Liu Kang is in like the tomb place with Raiden when this mysterious set of stairs just kind of appears in the back and Sub-Zero starts coming down.
Yeah, it's a really weird bit with like Raiden's you just gotta see Raiden off eating or something.
Doing something
just
weird.
There, like, and you kind of like go straight past him, and then you've got Liu Kang at the bottom, and then this staircase.
These stairs just appear, and Sub-Zero's heading down.
It's like stars in their eyes. Like, here comes Sub-Zero. Tonight, Matthew, you're going to be Sub-Zero.
So yeah, they start fighting. It's another great fight. I do like it. The physical stunt work here is great.
Like, Sub-Zero is unbelievably athletic.
These two are 100% doing their own stunts.
Oh my god.
Easily doing their own stunts. And it is awesome.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's just busting out flips.
Oh yeah.
To isn't he, Sub-Zero?
Oh, he's crazy.
Hilarious because he's doing like so many flips. There's a lot of pointless flips. There's so many of this like just flips for flip's sake, isn't it? So you got like a little ramp coming down. He starts doing like these sort of like handspring backflips down there, and there's a bit where Liu Kang kind of follows, and because he can't do the flips, he just kind of jumps in the air and goes, and there's like a random Superman punch, but there's no one there, just and then runs down, which I just found hilarious.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not flipping.
No, it's so funny.
Sub-Zero makes like an ice shield dome thing.
Yeah.
And then Katana comes back telling Liu Kang to use the element that brings life.
Yeah.
So he grabs, it just happens to be a bucket of water. It just happens to be there. And he throws it at Sub-Zero, it turns into an ice spear, goes into him, just freezes him, and that's it.
Yeah, it's really anticlimactic.
It's super underwhelming for Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
considering the fight we just had with Scorpion.
Yeah, and it was a great fight up until this point.
I agree.
Until he makes the big sort of like snow globe thing, and it's a bit like, oh, what's going to happen here? But yeah, then he just to get impaled.
Yeah, it's just the fact that the water goes through the ice.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It doesn't.
Super odd.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, there's no logic behind that. And I'm not asking
to make a perfect spear to kill him.
Yeah, in the perfect place. It's really weird. We then get a little montage of like some other guys just getting absolutely bodied by Goro.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, you know. Like we never really see.
You don't see Goro do anything.
You just see like, like people just kind of falling into the scene or falling on the floor. Like, yeah, it's a bit strange. But yeah, I think it's kind of understandable. Because when you actually look at Goro's...
He's just huge.
Yeah, there's no way that you could have like an actual good fight with him.
He's too much of an effect to do anything
there's too much going on there. And
I
obviously, you won't be... I don't think you'd possibly be able to move the hands and feet
at the same time. No. I think they'd have to use CGI in that way. There's a metal song playing in the background of the scene. It's awesome. The practical effects, again, I can't say it enough. They look incredible. And he's voiced by Gabtu from Lilo and Stitch, which I think is amazing. I was trying to figure out who he was, and it's him. Love that. It's so good. So we get, what's his name? Artleen?
Artleen. So yeah, remember Artleen?
Yeah, remember Artleen? No one does.
They just kind of bring him back. Like you literally see him in that bit by the boat, and now there's no in between. He's never part of the story. So yeah, he just kind of comes back, and for some reason, they seem to think that he can beat Goro.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Everyone's like jumping. Everyone's like cheering him on. It's really weird.
He just runs away the entire time, really, doesn't he? He
doesn't
do anything.
Yeah. So Shang Tsung says to Goro to finish him.
Finish him!
And he kind of just like picks him up. Well, he hits him.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird because he sort of like finish him and he's holding him. And obviously, again, because he can't move that well, like every time he's hitting him, it's almost as if it's like really pathetic, isn't it? Like when he's hitting him, so he's acting as though he's getting hit by a brick wall every time. Like, but when you see it, it's literally just like a really gentle tap. But yeah, he says finish him and he's sort of like holding him and then just kind of hits him like coming down to his chest. And he just seems to die knock out.
Yeah, and then
hold him above his head.
I thought he was going to like back break him or something.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Mine.
No.
And I said at this point, I just wish the film had a bit more violence to it. I think that would have really gone up a level. Yeah. But it just doesn't. And then Shang Tsung just takes his soul. It's really weird. Yeah.
So he just sort of takes his soul and like puts it into his eye or something. It's a bit weird.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
but yeah. So bye-bye. Bye-bye, Artleen.
Bye-bye, Artleen. Everyone's favourite character, Artleen. Real offensive. But yeah, that's it done. That's that fight done. Goro is very strong, but we never really see it because again, he's so much of an effect. But it's fine, I guess. Yeah. Raiden explains to the trio that the only thing that can defeat them is fear itself. Yeah. Johnny is afraid he's a fake and will take any fight to prove he isn't. Sonya is afraid to admit that she needs help sometimes and she's afraid to trust. Yeah. And Liu Kang fears his own destiny and that's why he fled to America years ago.
Yeah, it's a little edgy and it's a little dramatic. Like, ooh, you fear your own destiny, man.
We needed a dramatic part.
Yes, whatever.
This scene is super weird though because Raiden tells Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage about their fears and just kind of walks off. And Liu Kang's like, well, what about me? Yeah. And he just kind of goes, oh, you!
What about me?
Oh, you.
Yeah. And I'm just like, what? You stood right next to him. Did you really need to do that?
It's really silly.
It's so bizarre.
And I think here we get like another like, like
it wouldn't
sort of like, oh, you.
It's just such a weird scene. I don't get Raiden in this film at all. I'll be honest.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, no, he really, really is. So Kang has another dream of Shang Tsung killing his brother, while Sonya Blade explains to Johnny Cage that if he goes up against Goro, he's going to lose and die. Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade have a little flirty back and forth.
They're starting to fall for each other at this point. She's starting to give in to his nonsense.
Nonsense is the absolute correct word. Yeah, no, I agree. Johnny Cage tells Shang Tsung he's challenging Goro, and Shang Tsung says Goro will destroy him, so good luck with that. Shang Tsung says he will be in the final fight of the Mortal Kombat regardless.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird. So basically, Johnny asks for the fight with Goro to protect Sonya Blade. So I'm not really sure if she was meant to fight him or not. But for Shang Tsung to say, I'm going to be the last guy, like if Goro wins, it would have been Shang Tsung.
They have to fight
Goro.
each other,
So it was an interesting choice. Like he obviously knew that he was going to win, but I don't.
I mean, maybe he just counted on these characters kind of overtaken.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
it is weird. Decision. It is really, really weird. So Raiden is like fuming at Johnny Cage for challenging Goro, but then he's fine and he thinks it's a good thing. It's just a complete flip.
It flips, doesn't it? Because I think this is his way of being like he's not a fake because he's like, if I don't do it, nobody will. And then it's almost him being... the only logic... I'm trying to give Raiden logic.
Trying.
But the only logic I can think is that he's sort of like, he's getting it. Like
he's clicking on.
Yeah, he's proving that he's not a fake by actually stepping up. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just a real... But it like happened so quick that there was literally no point in that scene.
I am making the backstory.
This was not right in the extras. So the fighters have arrived and it's time for Johnny Cage and Goro to smack down. Goro smashes Johnny Cage's sunglasses, who really, really loves them. Shouldn't have done that.
He turns up with the shades, isn't he?
Yeah, and he looks class. He looks fantastic. Cage does the absolutely iconic splits into the ball punch move.
Incredible.
Raiden's popping off, everyone's going mad. Goro's in major pain, obviously, and Goro goes to find Johnny Cage, who's run up the stairs.
Yes, he runs up the stairs. There was also a bit. So the ninjas are all surrounding them. They're all like screaming and they're going absolutely mental. But there was these two like ninjas who basically looked like twins. And throughout this, I think it was a few times, but throughout this, they're just screaming at each other. They literally just look at each other, just but like the fight's there, and they just go
they clearly were not told where to look.
Like, yeah,
that is
so
amazing. Funny. Johnny Cage hits him with such a great little one-liner. Those were $500 sunglasses. It's fantastic. And he punches Goro off the cliff.
Yeah, so they sort of have a little bit of a scuffle. It's hilarious though.
Goro's kind of
unfortunately, like due to the way he's built
and size,
there's not much he can do physically. But there is a hilarious bit, I think, where Goro sort of goes for it, misses, and sort of stumbles, and the camera is like right back, so they're at the edge of a cliff.
Yeah,
and you can kind of see here that they clearly, obviously, they were at the edge of a cliff. They clearly weren't on any sort of thing. Because there's a bit where Goro like falls off.
Yeah.
So you see him slap fall in, and then like he's off the cliff. But they just kind of cuts back and he's back on, which is kind of, it was hilarious.
But yeah, he just punches him off a cliff and that's the end of that fight. And unfortunately, that fight was going well. Although you kind of don't see Goro do anything, this was such a fun fight because you get the Johnny Cage-isms, which is awesome. And they just end it super quickly by punching him off a cliff. Again, it's really anticlimactic. And they do this a few times.
Yeah, it was a difficult one to end with him, though, wasn't it? Because how do you kill Goro?
Yeah, and again, when we keep saying it, but he's such an effect that how are you supposed to do anything with him? It kind of sucks, but it's a fun scene. So I'll fix it. Shang Tsung is like taking Sonya Blade by the hair. It's really weird. And he challenges to fight her. And then they both get taken by that weird blue goo.
So Shang Tsung has decided that he's not fighting the boys.
No.
He's going to fight Sonya instead. So Sonya is going to be the last person.
Yes.
That
he's chosen it.
Yeah.
So they go to the wastelands of the Outworld, where Raiden can't like teleport travel.
Yeah, so it's never really explained. It's a bit weird because obviously Shang Tsung's like, he may not be a god, but he's
sorcerer.
He has powers of some sort.
100%.
So yeah, for some reason he just can't. He never really explains this. He just kind of says, "I can't
travel there."
And so it's just down to Johnny Liu Kang to just go through to find them.
But this is another bit that don't get me. They get taken by that blue goo, but then Liu Kang and Johnny Cage just walk through.
I think as they're walking through. The goo sort of comes at them, and then the door, there's like a thing closes, isn't there? Like a stone wall closes. Okay. So I think it's coming, but it doesn't actually. I think if I remember correctly, it's sort of on the way.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a weird. It's an interesting choice from Shang Tsung as well to be fighting Sonya because throughout it he seems to want to
protect her.
Yeah, like make her his
queen. But maybe that
was
his thing that he didn't want anyone else to hurt her but him. Maybe.
Yeah, interesting choice.
But again, plot isn't really the major thing here. So Raiden says that she won't be able to beat Shang Tsung, and then Reptile's just in the background for this scene. Yeah, and he kind of follows them through to the Outworld.
Yeah, so they get to the Outworld, which is like it's sort of like being smashed up, isn't it, by the Emperor? So this is. It's sort of like it's like it's happened recently, so there's a lot of fire going on, and there's a lot of like
it looks like it's recently burned down.
Sort of like it's been within the last few years, I'd say. Yes. It's sort of like all broken down, but then there's like a few random people just running in the background as if something's happening right there and then.
Real weird.
But there's nothing there. Like if you look around, there's no monsters around. Nothing's happening. You just see people just running. It's really random. And then Reptile's sort of there.
Yeah, I think he follows him through the tunnel. He must do because he's in the normal. Oh no,
I think there is a bit where I think there's a bit earlier where Shang Tsung basically tells Reptile to follow them. So I think you never see him going into the portal.
No,
but I think he's always there.
Yes, I get you.
And obviously he's like a chameleon, so you can never see him.
So Liu Kang and Johnny Cage travel the tunnel to follow Sonya Blade and Shang Tsung, where they get to this really high tower, which is like the tower from Mortal Kombat that you fight through. Johnny Cage hates this place. He said it's like being back in high school. I don't know what high school Johnny Cage went to, but it's a funny, real funny line.
Surrounded by people who probably want to kick my ass. It's like being back in high school.
Liu Kang notices Reptile on the wall and rips him off, even though he's camouflaged into it, and he turns into the human, non-CGI Reptile. So much better than that stupid CGI thing.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Because it's sort of like a statue on the floor with like an open chest.
Yeah.
Like his chest's been caved in. And then he sort of like, as he grabs him, he gets free, doesn't he? Lands in the chest.
Becomes human.
And then somehow becomes human, but comes up like looking like Sub-Zero.
Like Sub-Zero, but green.
Scorpion, but green. But looks great.
Yeah, so he looks great now. Now I'm real into him. The Techno Syndrome, like the song kicks in and it's real cool. It's, you know, this fight is amazing as well.
Some of the things like this hitting drop kicks, they're hitting like these sort of like jumping up and grabbing him, hurricanrana.
The bicycle kick comes into this and it is absolutely glorious.
At the end, so he does like little flip overs as the Liu Kang hits him and he just running.
Oh, it's incredible.
Kicks him about 10 times.
Perfect recreation from the game. Oh, it's spot on.
So
but yeah, this is such a great fight scene.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. But none of these fight scenes seem to last too long. They kind of come and go. And some of them feel like they should, and some of them feel like they should be a bit longer. And this is one of them.
It slightly felt like they really blew the budget on the
Johnny
Cage fight, where they went all out on it.
I agree.
Then all the other fights are a lot more condensed. You know, whereas that one kind of went to different places and like
that one's quite long.
And it had a lot of like the iconic lines and things like that. Whereas everything else has sort of been like, oh, they're having a little scrap. They last 3, maybe 4 minutes.
Yeah,
and then
it's
kind of like, you know, they'll get their stuff in.
I totally agree, so Liu Kang defeats Reptile, pushes him back into that statue thing, and he becomes CGI again?
Yeah, he turns back into CGI Reptile.
And then Liu Kang just squishes him.
Just squishes him. And then, and then he ends up turning into, like, bugs.
Yeah.
He turns into, like, cockroaches and, like...
It's real weird. They have no idea how to end these fights, though. No. Like... There's been multiple fights now that just end awfully, and this is one of them.
It sounds like the Boogeyman. Do you remember Boogeyman on Night Before Christmas? When he turns into all
into the Oogie Boogie, yes.
Yeah,
like
Oogie Boogie.
Yeah,
he just turns into, like, bugs.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason.
Yeah, no, it's real weird. So Katana is here now, and she is saying that Liu Kang is finally learning.
Yeah, so she basically explains how she is the adopted daughter.
Yes.
So
another bit of an exposition dump here.
Yeah, so the Emperor, this is her village. The Emperor's come in, he's destroyed her village, and he killed her parents, and then just took her in as her own.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a bit morbid.
It's pretty dark, yeah. Pretty dark.
But yeah, that's kind of how she is the adopted daughter.
Yeah, and that's how she's the heir to the throne of the Outworld, which is, you know, pretty cool, I guess. So she explains that. Blah, blah, blah. We'll move past that. 3 challenges are upon them in the tower. Face the enemy, face themselves, and face their worst fear. You know, that's fine. Sonya Blade is like handcuffed to this really bad CGI wall. Shang Tsung has changed her outfit from whatever she was wearing, which was pretty normal, to this really skimpy, weird kind of...
Yeah, she does look like she's going to be sacrificed to King Kong. It's really odd. It's like a sort of Spartan-y sort of looking, like, dress thing.
It's so weird. Like,
really
where did he have this?
I don't know. Yeah, and he's just changed it, which is a bit creepy.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't
real
know.
Weird.
No idea why.
No, I don't get it. So she says she won't fight Shang Tsung, but if she doesn't, the realm of the earth will be destroyed, essentially. Yeah. She still says she won't fight him, and that her friends will come and save her. Yeah. But they're already here. They're dressed in these
so
robes.
there's like a load of druids sort of come down to them with all these like sort of flames things. Like it looks like they're going to sacrifice it, basically.
Yeah, they do.
And then lo and behold, like we're already here.
Yeah, they pop out of the hoods and they
Liu Kang comes out, rips his robe off, and God, the man is shredded,
chiseled, machine,
shredded.
Yeah,
looks incredible.
This man is all muscle.
Oh my God,
he is just muscle.
He looks like a Bruce Lee or something.
And as if he didn't have the hair enough already, the man he
looks incredible.
Insane, real cool. Yeah. So Johnny Cage frees Sonya, and Shang Tsung challenges Johnny Cage, but Liu Kang steps in and says he's going to fight Shang Tsung instead. Shang Tsung accepts the fight, and they start fighting. The song kicks back in.
Yeah,
we're all going. Yeah. It's awesome. They go back and forth for a bit. I don't know if there's any noticeable kind of...
No, so it's more of like, this sort of like blocking, isn't it? There's a lot of like, when he'll go for a kick, he'll block it, or he'll dodge it, or there's a lot of like, no one really touches each other, and then Liu Kang finally lands the one punch.
Yes, makes him bleed on the lip.
Yeah, which is sort of like the first time he's properly hit.
Yeah, so this is Shang Tsung's bleeding, and he's real angry about that. Yeah. So Shang Tsung conjures the souls of 1,000 dead enemies, and men just start breaking through the floorboards and start jumping through these holes.
Like these sort of like oldie, sort of like warrior-looking people. They like, look like they could be from the Greek.
Yeah, I mean some of them are huge and jumping up from these floors.
Yeah, like a samurai-looking guy. And like, yeah, there's just about 8 of
It's
these.
bonkers, but I love it. And then Liu Kang takes them all on solo, but he doesn't fight them all at the same time.
Yeah,
they all kind of have their go at him.
Yeah, it's all a bit. This fight's great, but it's very pathetic. They're pathetic.
Oh god, yeah.
Like he pretty much like kicks one, gone. Like punches one, gone. He does like a lovely, I think for the last guy, he sort of like runs up the stairs like he does like a backward split jump over him, and I think like he kicks him or something. And he's done, but yeah, the scene itself is great for just cannon fodder,
100%.
but they're very pathetic.
Oh yeah,
warriors.
And at this point, I kind of noticed again that Shang Tsung's actor is so over the top. He's honestly wild. It's like, you will die.
You will die.
He's real happy face on him though. It's really weird. Shang Tsung turns into Chan, Liu Kang's brother.
Yeah, so it's a bit weird, isn't it? Because obviously we had you've got to fight your enemy, you've got to face yourself, and you've got to fight, what was it? Your worst fear.
Yes.
So the enemies was obviously Shang and the other warriors. Then when he's facing himself, he basically just walks up the stairs and kind of goes, "You don't own my soul," to Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
And that's him facing himself.
Yeah, I was expecting Shang Tsung to turn into Liu Kang, considering he can do that.
It's a bit strange. And then, yeah, the worst fear then is his brother, which is why he turns into Chan.
So they kind of speak for a bit. They kind of accept that Chan's gone.
Yeah.
And that Liu Kang is kind of trying to avenge him.
Yeah, I think this is Liu Kang's way of being like, I know this isn't my fault. Like, Shang Tsung killed you, sort of thing. Rather than, because I think throughout the film, Liu Kang's blamed himself for not being there and stuff. So, yeah.
And then Shang Tsung turns back to normal and fights back on. They're fighting again. The musical score again is excellent here. And Liu Kang just says that he is the chosen one. This is him. He comes with this sick burn towards Shang Tsung. All these souls, and you still don't have one of your own. I should have defeated him with just that alone.
All those souls and you still don't have one of your own.
Is incredible. Liu Kang is going absolutely beast mode on Shang Tsung here. He's going
at this point I think like during the conversation like loads of spikes have formed underneath them, so they're on like a bit of a platform. These spikes have come like I think it's in the shape
it's
of
in the dragon.
Mortal Kombat dragon.
They all start forming.
So yeah, he just hits him with like a 30 hit combo, like just starts teeing off on Shang Tsung. And then kind of hits him with what the only thing I describe is like a Hadouken.
Yeah.
So he sort of like does this. Yes, we sort of like punch him, and then he just kind of does this sort of like super sort of like shot thing at him, which seems to like blast him backwards. It's a little. I don't know if it is from the games.
I'm not 100% sure. So
if I missed something there, but it felt a bit like okay,
you've got a power now. Yeah,
it tries. Yes. Yeah, great.
So
fighting.
Shang Tsung goes flying onto the spikes onto the ground, and the souls are freed from Shang Tsung. It's the CGI is real bad. It almost looks like like Haunted Mansion or something.
Yes.
But we see Chan, and he kind of looks like a force projection from Star Wars at first, but then he turns like normal, and it's a real good scene between the brothers here. It's really good of like acceptance and moving on and realizing and stuff like that. It's very good.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is where Chan basically says that his spirit will always be within Liu Kang.
Yes.
So yeah, they kind of have their little moment together.
Very good.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment.
Yeah, and then they move on. Chan is dead and freed and whatnot, and that's it. Tournament's over, and they all leave the Outworlds. That's pretty much all done now. We're all done with that. We get back to seeing Raiden again, and I just don't want to see him anymore.
Yeah, so they're back at the like Shaolin Monk place where the film actually started. They're all back there. I think it's Katana's with Liu Kang. Yeah. Sonya Blade is now with Johnny Cage. And Raiden is just
Raiden's on his own, and so he should be.
He's there, buddy.
So yeah, they're all just kind of accepting it's all done. They're all kind of congratulating each other. The Emperor, who is Katana's dad breaks through the castle and he's like part of the sky. It's really weird. And he says he's come for their souls. Raiden says, I don't think so. And then they all get into this like fighting stance. They're all looking and they're all like Power Rangers. They're all live.
I've come for your souls.
I don't think so.
And then the theme song starts and that's the end.
Yeah.
And it is crazy. It's like a wild ending.
It is absolutely wild. Like so you have the sort of the CGI clouds coming down again. Yeah. He's just like
it's so fast.
Yeah, it's almost like a hologram though, isn't it? When he comes up, he's like he's not there.
No,
he's just this giant like hologram, like shadowy figure, just being like I'm coming to you. Yeah,
it's so weird, but such a great ending for this film because it's perfectly in line with how they do it. So let's just get into the category straight away because I can't wait to talk about a lot of this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go into the acting first. And I thought the acting here was a bit of a mixed bag. I think most people play the counterparts pretty well.
Yeah.
Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, very, very good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed all of them. Johnny Cage being my favorite. Well, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang being my favorites.
Okay.
Sonya Blade being very good.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung being amazingly over the top and really wacky. But Raiden just destroyed the whole film for me, unfortunately. He's so boring and just the wrong person.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. It is. I don't really know.
No, I'd love to know the thought process.
Yeah, I don't really know if he was like, if he didn't want to be. It feels like he doesn't want to be part of it. It feels like everyone else is kind of like taking it as seriously as you can. Do you know what I mean? They've seen their character briefs and they've been like, this is what I'm going to do. And it feels like he's just taking the piss.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
Odd.
So, didn't like him at all. And Sub-Zero and Scorpion, they didn't really act. It was just a physical performance.
Yes.
So, can't really say anything. Great physical performance, but nothing out of them other than that. So, a bit of a mixed bag, but I enjoyed it for the most part. So, I'll give it a 7. 7 out of 10 for me because I feel like the highs were really high and the lows were pretty low.
That's really good for you.
Yourself?
That's very good. I completely agree. I think it's very cheesy. It's very over the top. It's very of its time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I completely agree. I think Raiden he sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yes.
It's very obvious. Again, like as I just mentioned, that he don't know if he didn't want to be there. I'd be very interested to.
I reckon they had someone else cast and they dropped out.
Yeah.
And then they just had to get this guy. And I know he's a pretty good actor. I know he was in Highlander, but it just feels wrong.
He felt like he doesn't want to be there at all.
No way.
So it's interesting, but. The three amigos, as I like to call them, the chemistry between those three guys is really good. I think even like the relationship built, as much as it was obvious that Johnny and Sonya were going to get together, I think it built a relationship quite well.
Yeah,
considering it's sort of like they don't really like each other in the start. She finds it a bit cheesy, and slowly starts to give in to him and stuff. So I think it was really good. Yeah, love the quotes throughout. Maybe slightly too much in times. Like I think Shang
the Scorpion bit as well kind of kept going.
I think Shang Tsung probably says fatality about 3 or 4 times during the film. But I loved it. I agree. 7 out of 10.
Fantastic. A joint 7. That's great. Let's jump into effects next then. Cool. I mean, they're pretty bad. Let's be honest.
Atrocious.
They're pretty bad. A lot of terrible CGI and green screen, but for a 90s video game film on a budget of 20 mil, I thought it could have been a lot worse. I can kind of forgive it for those reasons, and some of the stuff did look good. I really liked Scorpion's skull at that one point, even though it did look a bit... I liked it. Goro was amazing. So for the most part, pretty bad, but I'm going to go right down the middle and go 5 out of 10. I have to be critical of it, but deep down, I love the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? But I'll go 5 out of 10 just to really cement it.
I think they're famously bad.
Yes.
The effects in this film are absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, so bad.
I love them. I love everything about them.
I hated Reptile.
Oh, see, no, complete opposite. I love Reptile. Reptile is just the most ridiculous looking thing in the world, and I love it. I love the hand plant thing that comes out with. I love everything about all the CGI in this film. I love the storm clouds that are just obviously not there. Yeah. It's so stupid. It's
what's it?
Goro's great. Do you know what? I've gone 7. No. 9 out of 10. Effects are what make this film better.
I respect it.
They add to this film.
I think if I wasn't trying to be critical, I probably would have gone higher.
9 out of 10.
I'll give you that. Well done. Well done. Music. Do you want to jump into music first? Go for it.
So the music is very typical action film, and they've clearly got the right to the main song.
Oh, yeah. They don't let you forget.
No. Like, this song is played 5, 6,
4 I want to say at least 4 or 5 times.
Like, it is played every time there's a big scene, the song kicks in. But it is such a banger every single time. Every time it comes
in, thinking about it,
going, yeah, buddy, here we go. I love it. Outside of that, everything's just pretty generic sort of 90s action film sort of stuff. But yeah, for that song alone, 8 out of 10.
Okay, this is funny. This is my favourite part of the film. The music was so good. I thought the score was really fun most of the time. Like, it felt like really straight out of the games. The music side, we got the theme song, the metal songs, the techno reptile bit. Like, I loved all the music. I don't have a single negative. I'm going 10.
Yeah!
I'm going 10. I have to. I just loved it.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
The music was incredible.
Oh, that's amazing. I was more critical than you.
I know, I loved it.
Wow.
We'll jump into entertainment then for Mortal Kombat. And I feel like through all the other ones, apart from music, I've been pretty negative. I sound negative, but I'm pretty much the opposite. I enjoyed this film from start to finish, and if anything, it's just fun. This film is so much fun. There's a fairly decent plot going on that kind of wraps itself around all the fights, but the film doesn't really care. It just wants you to see the fight scenes and see these wild and crazy characters. And with that alone, I had a great time with it. I wouldn't care if there was no plot. I had a real good time with it. It just feels like a film that if I'd seen years ago, I'd make everyone watch. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those. I said the first act is a bit slow and a bit of a drag to get through, but once you hit Mortal Kombat, it's pretty much non-stop. I initially put down an 8.5. I'm going 9.
Yeah,
I'm going 9. I'm going 9.
That's amazing. Yes. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. I'm not, as I said at the start, I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. Like, I don't really play the games. I knew enough to get by, but this film, I just love it. Like, I think it's so stupid. It's so silly. And yeah, it does take a while to get going.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of a boring.
If it feels slightly necessary, you know what I mean? Because I think they introduce so many characters.
You have at least 5 main characters, so you have to have a bit of backstory. You introduce
so many people, because obviously for people who don't like know the games, you kind of need them to understand at least who the characters are, what's going on. But yeah, all the fight scenes are they're incredible, and I think you can see there are certain martial artists that are better than others, or more. Yeah. But I think, like, on the whole, like, the action scenes are incredible. The CGI is beautiful. The music is incredible. Do you know what? 10 out of 10. I had the best time. I love this film.
We are loving Mortal Kombat today. So overall, we'll hit the overall and the recommendations. Okay. So overall, I unironically loved it. Oh, great. I loved it. It's such a fun time. Most things work for me. Hate Raiden.
Yeah, no.
I'd say I'm excited to watch the sequel, but I know more about the sequel than I did this film.
Okay.
I know way more about that, and it looks horrendous, but I'm still going to check it out. Okay. But I also really enjoyed the newest film that came out.
Still haven't seen that.
I'm really excited for the sequel to come out for that. But this was a blast, and I'd probably watch this one over the new one, if I'm being totally honest, because it's just fun. It knows what it's doing. Yes. 9 out of 10. And overall, 9 out of 10.
Wonderful. I 100% agree, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10?
It's pointless, yeah. You know I love this. So
joint 9 out of 10 as well.
Let's just a little behind the scenes. This was a suggestion by me, and I am extremely happy that you enjoyed this.
Yes, I absolutely loved it. It's
fantastic. You recommend this film, sir?
I would recommend this to anyone. Maybe the only people I wouldn't recommend this to is if you really take your action films seriously. So if you watch like the most serious action films and that's the only film you ever like, you're not going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
But if you like action films as a general moviegoer, you're going to have fun with it if you can get past the dated CGI and some of the dated lines in there.
Yeah, I think if you're a massive Mortal Kombat fan and you take it, I don't know if the new film's a lot more like to the lore, like it's a lot more.
They add stuff in that doesn't even exist.
So I was gonna say, if you're like a huge Mortal Kombat fan and you'd be slightly insulted if they took it a different way, then I'd probably suggest not watching this.
Yes.
But for everybody else, which is 99% of everybody else, watch it. Enjoy it, love it.
Yeah, it's a banger. It's unironically great, and I really, really loved it. I'm glad this was a suggestion. I really enjoyed this one. So that was our disaster debate on Mortal Kombat. As you can tell, we both really loved it. Zach's seen it before, I haven't, so it was a first time watch. It was great. Highly recommended. Definitely check this one out.
Oh, what a bloody film. Like, I can't wait for the second one.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting
Very excited.
So yeah, give us a follow on all our socials. We're at The Feature Fellas. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. And now we are on X.
Wait, I don't know how to use it, but we're on it.
Hey, let's figure this out.
Absolutely.
So yeah, give us a follow everywhere. If you want to share the video, subscribe, feel free to leave a comment, tell us your favourite bit. Tell us your favourite character from Mortal Kombat.
Tell us your favourite time the theme song starts.
Yeah,
because there's so many to choose from. It's so great. And we will see you next time.
You stay classy, motherfucker.